This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. Well, we had a huge event here at Ramsey this morning. Our entire team of 1,000 folks sat here and we watched the entire premiere screening of the new documentary that comes out in October called Borrowed Future. And we're all a little biased in this building, but it's incredible.
Yeah, you don't have to trust us, but let me tell you, we had the red carpet, we had Chick-fil-A biscuits. The team was just on fire because we've been teasing this thing for a long time. The team has been working on this for a long time, and we finally got to show the crew what it's all about. And there was not a dry eye in the house.
Yeah, it is a world-class storytelling, world-class production values and editing and the whole process. And so you'll be able to see Borrowed Future on October 14th. 14th is the release date on Apple TV and Amazon Prime and all the places, Hulu, all the places that you watch good documentaries show up and good things like this show up. So you'll be able to find us. We'll be out there just about everywhere. And more details on that to come. But if you want to be on the launch list, you can go to borrowedfuture.com and just put your email in there and we'll send you a link and let you know when you can do it. You can actually watch it from our site. It's a pay-per-view process wherever you are. And so we'd love to have you sign up and take a look at the thing. It is absolutely incredible. It is obviously about the student loan the epic failure of the student loan movement industry, Congress, how they have screwed you. Navient, Sally Mae. When you finish watching this, your blood will be boiling. Because we have tacked it down in detail, and there's going to be some people really, really unhappy when this comes out, and it's not going to be you. It's going to be these people that have been screwing you for decades with this epic failure of a program. It makes everyone involved. I mean, there's so many villains, it's hard to be there.
It's hard to pinpoint one, but yeah, there's no way you can have an opinion after watching this thing where you don't go, this situation is screwed up, and I don't want anyone I know a part of the student loan crisis.
Yeah, amen. And if you got student loans, we're here to help you with that too. We're not mad at you. We've all done stupid things around here. That's how we all got started. We discovered our lack of perfection, and once we figured that out, then we were able to share.
Much easier.
Where we
I've been there.
Where we had messed up. And so been there, done that, got the T-shirt. It's like my pastor says, a man with an experience is not at the mercy of a man with an opinion. So
That'll preach.
That's where we are. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Ann is with us in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hi, Ann. How are you?
Hi, Dave. God bless you.
You too. How can we help?
Thank you so much. I'm making $1,500 a month on Social Security, and I make another $500 a month substitute teaching. And I'm paying my sister $500 a month to pay her back the $20,000 I owe her. And that will take me 3 years. But in the meantime, I'm not tithing at all, and I don't quite know what to do about that.
How old are you?
72.
Okay. All right. Well, I think it's always good when we're talking about tithing to pull back from the details of the situation and just unpack. Okay, yes, those of us that are Christians, the vast majority of us believe that the Bible says to tithe, to give a tenth of our income to our local church. That's the definition of the word from an evangelical Christian standpoint, and that's what you're calling about. So let's pan back from that then and say, okay, what is God doing with this tithe thing? Why is he teaching us to tithe? And then what are some of the details around it? Number one, he is not teaching us to tithe because he needs money. He's God. He doesn't need money. Okay? Number two, he's not teaching us to tithe because the local church needs our support, although that is one of the byproducts of the tithe.
Okay.
But that's not why Scripture teaches us to tithe. Your heavenly Father, who is absolutely crazy about you, and he loves you, little girl, teaches you to give because it's good for you. It changes you. And that's the reason generosity always makes all of us smile. Generosity always makes our eyes leak, right? And so this is not a rule to be kept by an angry father. This is a loving father that says, hey, little girl, best way to live your life is to be generous. And here's a good rule of thumb, 1/10 of your income. Now, if we want to get technical about the income, let's get technical about it. I'll give you an opinion, but I want you to live in a lot of grace around this. God does not love tithers more than non-tithers. You don't get brownie points with God for tithing. That's not why you do it. The reason you do it is it's good for you to learn what it does to your heart when you're generous. And that's why giving is good for everyone. That's Jesus says, better to give than receive. And the reason is what happens inside of you, not because you're more noble or more altruistic or you're a better person because you're a giver rather than a taker. No, it has everything to do with your heart. So now that we've established that there's a lot of grace around the subject, then the technicality is the best indicator we have is in Deuteronomy. It says to tithe on your net increase. Now, that would be if you are earning a wage, which you said you're earning $500. Okay? Right?
Right.
Social Security, we could argue, is not earning. You paid into it. It's a horrible retirement plan that you paid way more into it than you'll ever get out.
Right.
And so I'm not sure I consider that income. You can if you want, because if you want to be a bigger giver, it's never a bad thing. But in my mind, with what you described, what you owe your sister has nothing to do with the equation mathematically. I would be tithing on the $500 worth of income, and then I would pray and ask God if you think you're supposed to tithe on the other Social Security income. So $50. And I think you can probably pull that off even in your really, really tight budget.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, $50 from your income, and I don't know your expenses and when it comes down to the budget, but I would take a good look at the budget and see if we can fine-tune some things, because clearly giving is something that you're passionate about. It's something that you want to do, and I love your heart and faithfulness around this. And so I think you look at the budget and go, I know I don't have a lot coming in, but what are some areas I can shave to make this $50 happen so that I can be generous?
Yeah. I don't think you're $50 off, even in your tight budget, one way or the other. But again, you continue to pray about this, and I want you to have a peace about it. I want you to walk. I want everyone in your generosity to walk in grace. But the principle is there. Those that win with money are generous. Very few people do we find in all of our data points that are very good with money unless they're generous. That's the little secret that nobody talks about much or enough. This is the Ramsey Show. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. George Camel Ramsey Personality is my co-host today as we take your calls about your life and your money. It's a free call at 888-825-5050. 5225. 888-825-5225. You can actually get through if you dial at this moment. Guys, we really value the input from our listeners on the Ramsey Show, and periodically we will do a listener survey. In the survey running right now, we ask listeners how much debt they've paid off. And you know what? People told us they paid off $241 million in debt. That's the people that took the survey. Wow. So if you'd like to take the survey, we'd love to have you do that. We are giving away an Amazon gift card worth $250, and you will be in the drawing for that. No purchase necessary if you take the survey. And it's all about this show and what you think about it. So we value your opinion. Text the word survey to 33789. Text survey to 33789, or you can go to ramseysolutions.com/survey. Either one will work fine. Brent is with us in Sacramento. Hi, Brent. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Hi, George. Thank you guys so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Yeah, I have a question. So, I, like you, I'm really interested in like real estate and kind of building up like a rental income like portfolio. And I kind of have like a plan to try to kind of like become financially free within the next like 10 or 15 years, thanks to a pretty big income that I have. And so I was wondering if, kind of like a two-part question, if I'm kind of crazy for thinking to basically just kind of cut back on like my 401k that I'm getting from my company to try to build this portfolio faster to essentially like quote unquote retire off of this. And if I am crazy for that, what should it be invested in to kind of double every year, like you say? Because right now it's just invested in like the standard, like the speculation for like when I'm expected to retire.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Cool. And what do you make?
In salary, it's about $130K, and then in RSUs, it's about anywhere between 30 to 50, depending on like what the stocks are at when I sell them.
Yeah, good for you. Well done. That's fun. Okay. Well, obviously the RSUs are not available to you until they're available. They're restricted stock units. So, what are the restrictions on them? How quickly can you get to that money?
They're quarterly, so like every 3 months or so, I get roughly like 8 to 10 and 10K in the RSUs
that are released to you that you can cash in.
Correct. Yeah.
Once a quarter. Okay.
Correct.
So they're not heavily restricted. You don't have to hold them 5 years or something like that.
No, they were just restricted for like the first year, and so I got a pretty big chunk within the first year that I actually used to pay off like the remainder of my debt. So thanks for helping me out with that.
All right, cool. Well, you're doing really well. We teach a process called the baby steps, and I think that is included in the person who wants to be wealthy in real estate and makes $150,000 a year at 27 years old. So yeah, I would tell you to first become debt free. Are you?
Yes, I am.
Do you own a home?
No, I've been saving up, and I have about $80,000 saved right now to put into a home, but I'm waiting for the market to kind of cool down a bit.
Okay, cool. That's fine. Good. Well, and we would say have 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside as an emergency fund, and then put as big a stroke on the house as you can put on the house. And while you're saving for that house, you've done a good job with a good, strong down payment. Sacramento's a more expensive market. You wouldn't hurt to even have more, obviously. But we're going to put 15% of our income into retirement and into the 401k. And above that, you should have plenty of room as a young single guy to save like a crazy man towards buying some real estate. And
okay, sounds good.
I think you're on your way to doing that. I don't think it keeps you from doing that.
No, absolutely not. And I want you to have a paid for property first before you go investing in real estate. But I think with that income, and it's only going up from here. He's 27, clearly a sharp guy. So I think, hey, can I live off of 30 and sock away 100 plus?
Yeah.
And save that and start to invest that into property once you've got the investing plate spinning. And I think you're going to be just fine. You're going to be a multimillionaire either way at this rate.
Here's the thing. You lower your risk and your oh crap moments when something comes at you is lowered risk, the more you have paid off. And so I'm with George. I'm going to go ahead and buy the house and get the house paid off, and then I'm going to save and buy my real estate. And by the way, that's what I did. I'm not asking you to do something I didn't do. I bought I got my house paid off, and I saved up and bought my very first piece of investment real estate. And that's the hardest one, by the way, because then you got all that rent that with no payments. That's a lot of money coming in. And then when you've got 2 of them with all that rent and no payments, the third one's even easier because you've got all that rent and no payments. And now I'm quite a few pieces of real estate into this idea. And I've got all that rent and no payments. And life is pretty good in that situation.
Yeah, I follow a lot of these influencers on social media, and they're in the real estate world, and so they're trying to leverage out their eyeballs. And they go, "Well, I'm not even going to have my own place. I'm just going to rent, and I'm going to keep getting more and more mortgages because hey, they're paying my mortgage off for me." Dave, how is that a dumb idea?
It's about as dumb as following the advice of an influencer on Instagram. But yeah, yeah. So
you were the original influencer. You were doing it.
Well, maybe. I don't know if I ever qualified for that stuff, but the I started buying real estate the first time when I went broke in my 20s, and much like Brent, I was a little bit younger than Brent actually, and there was a rage going on then like is going on now, and that's 40 years ago, and the rage was nothing down real estate. As a matter of fact, there was a guy who wrote a book called Nothing Down. That was the name of the book. He later filed Chapter 11. And
no book on that.
And lost everything. And I was in a real estate club with all these guys that were following plus or minus those strategies. Highly leveraged, lots of debt, buy as much real estate as you can buy. It'll all work out. The renters will pay your payments. And the interesting thing is, it felt good at the moment because like I became a millionaire by the time I was 26 doing that. And I owned a bunch of real estate. I owned $4 million worth of real estate, and I had $3 million worth of debt. That means you're a millionaire. 4 minus 3, right? And so, but I also had no money. No money. It all went back into deals. I had no money. It all went back into deals. And as soon as the bank just flinched, they just took me out in a tsunami, just knocked me over because I had built a house of cards, and a house of cards isn't stable. But back to my story. All of my buddies, there were 3 guys that were kind of old farts in the club, right? The club was like 100 people, this real estate investors club. And these old guys wouldn't do it the cool way. They were paying for everything, or they had almost no debt. They'd maybe borrow a little bit, but it was like they put down like 70% or something on a piece of real estate.
Mostly cash deals?
Yeah. And I remember talking to one of them. I'm like, dude, you could do 3 times as many deals. And he goes, yeah, but I'll be here 3 times as long.
Ooh.
10 years from the time I'm in that club later, I don't know a single person in that club that had not gone broke.
Wow.
Every one of them that followed these influencers you're talking about's type advice, including the guy who wrote the freaking book, had gone through bankruptcy.
Wow.
And so, it's fool's gold because the leverage will come back and bite your butt off, and you'll just be standing there. And it wasn't just me. I'm not pregnant. I mean, it wasn't different because it was Dave. And well, Dave's just wounded because of his experience. No, Dave learned from his experience.
There's a difference.
There's a difference between being wounded and learning. That hot stove burnt my hand when I laid my hand on it. And so I don't touch hot stoves anymore. Yeah. So strange.
Yeah. Well, I love to see people this young in their 20s wanting to do it and wanting to do it the right way. So I think Brent's onto something here. If he can follow the baby steps and do it with cash, he's going to be doing just fine.
But all of his buddies that are on Instagram are going to be really, really concerned about how slow he's moving.
Oh, yeah.
And the people who build wealth and keep it are never on the cover of Fast Company magazine. They're on the cover of Slow Company magazine.
The tortoise never makes it to the cover, Dave.
The tortoise, the hare is always on the cover. The tortoise never makes it. And every time I read the book, the tortoise wins the race. This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. He is the host of The Fine Print, our latest podcast that has gone out. It's in season 1. There are 10 episodes that if you watch this, you will find all the different ways that you should have read the fine print, and someone's taking advantage of you.
Oh, yeah. And our latest one is all about these buy now, pay later services. And you've probably heard the names Afterpay and Klarna and Affirm. And Dave, I've been digging into this, and their marketing is hilarious. Here's what they sell themselves to companies by saying this: we create financial freedom for your customers. That sounds like something we want to create financial freedom for people. And the way they create financial freedom for customers is by putting them in debt. That makes sense. Right? You don't have to read the fine print to understand that this is a stupid idea. And this is just modern day layaway. Back in the day, you go to the store.
Yeah, but layaway doesn't have an interest rate.
No. And you have to wait to get the item till you actually pay for it in full.
Yeah.
With buy now, pay later, you get it now.
Yeah, this is the payday lender of Amazon Prime.
Yes.
That's what these guys are. I mean, if you have to make payments on a shirt, hint, you shouldn't be buying the shirt.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Do we need your grandmother to remind you of something like this and box your little ears, America? Oh
it's
my
huge.
gosh.
This is huge among Gen Z and millennials because what they do is they go, well, why spend 100? I could spend 25 and free up that money in my budget.
Yeah, I get to use all this. I get to keep my money. Yeah, this is the greatest. It's the, I was thumbing through, we're moving, and so I was packing, and when I found the newspaper from the 1970s when Nixon resigned, and it was the Nashville Tennessean, which the newspaper is actually still in existence. It's no longer a paper; it's now a pamphlet, a left-wing rag. But the and it's really about 5 pages now. But it used to be a legitimate thick.
Mostly
like
ads
people
now.
used to. But I mean, I'm going through this thing, looking at the cars for sale of the 1970s and what they cost, and looking at the houses. I was looking at there used to be these things people called the classified ads. And you could put your lawnmower for sale in the classified ads, and you could sell your dog in the classified ads, and you could do whatever in the classified, because they were set up by classification.
Oh, this is old school Craigslist.
Yeah, it was Craigslist before Craig was born. And so, I'm going through this thing, and I was amazed that the language is the same. 3 easy payments. 15 easy, just make easy payments.
So easy.
And I was remembering my grandfather going, there's no such thing, honey. There are no easy payments.
They always hurt.
Yeah. What's easy is the purchase of something that you can't afford with money you don't have to impress people you don't even really like. That's what's easy. The payments are never easy. Even if they're small, they at least remind you how stupid you were that you bought a shirt. It was a shirt! Oh, my gosh.
It's crazy. And what's even crazier is Klarna, they tout this to companies. The store order increases by 45% when you use Klarna. They don't put that in front of the customer. They put that in front of the company.
Well, they didn't even spend their money on the name. No. I mean, what a horrible name.
I know.
Klarna?
It sounds like karma.
Karma gone sideways. Yeah, it's bad.
That'd be a better tagline. So we dig into this. It's 24 minutes long. It's fun. It's narrative. Rachel Cruz joins me as the expert on the topic. She's dug into this. We talked to a real life
That's the one that launched this week.
Yes, this launched just last week. And this girl spent $10,000 at Lululemon. Using buy now, pay later.
My brain melted down when I heard that.
And that's only buying 2 things from Lululemon.
Yeah, really.
Imagine
Sweatpants,
that.
Extraordinary.
That's all it takes. And so we dig into this. We talk to a lot of people.
Home mortgage for freaking Lululemon. It's unbelievable.
Crazy. Yeah.
You just can't. George will always have a job.
That's true.
Open phones at 888-825-5225. Check it out. It's called The Fine Print. Anywhere great podcasts are sold. Oh, wait, they're free.
How is this free?
Check it out. I don't know, because I'm paying you. I'm not sure how this is working, but
don't think about it too long.
Somewhere in there, my brain's hurting. All right, Caitlin is with us in Minnesota. Hi, Caitlin. What's up in your world?
Hi, Dave. It's an honor to talk to you.
You too.
So me and my husband have been married for about 4 years, and sorry, I'm like really nervous.
That's okay. We've never lost a patient. You'll be okay.
And we operate by what I call the roommate method. It's where, we have a mortgage payment. I give him my half. He pays the bill, right? And I know we want to do the Dave Ramsey. We want to do all your baby steps. We've already got our $1,000 emergency fund. But he wants to take care of his debt, and he wants me to take care of my debt. And I've tried to talk to him, and I don't know what to say, what to do, how to. And we've been to like the Money and Marriage seminar last year. We've done Financial Peace University together.
Oh, so
and
you flunked everything.
I know.
Flunked out of all of it.
I know.
I'm going to make you repeat the second grade here.
It hurts my heart a lot because I love him, and I know that if we can get through this, and get through this, that things will be great.
Caitlin,
I don't know if I'm not saying the right thing.
How old is he?
He is, we're both 28.
Okay, I thought you married a child for a second. I just want to get the ages right before we dug in
you
here.
guys please stop saying that about him, because he really
I'm sure he's a great husband. What it feels like is he's saying, these are my toys, and these are your toys, and I'll play with my toys, and you play with your toys. But when you guys said I do, it was we from then on out. There's no roommate method. It's husband and wife method. And that means joint accounts. That means conversation, communication, combining everything, and it's now our debt.
Yeah.
But you're saying he's not on board with that.
Too? And I don't totally blame him, because
I blame him. What's his excuse?
No.
What's his excuse?
He hasn't given me an excuse.
So he just whines.
No, he doesn't whine.
Yeah, he is.
We don't talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
But
his wife is calling me on national radio after you've been through Financial Peace University and been to the thing. So yeah, that's called whining.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, really, this is bad. So okay, so what you've got to do with him is you're going to have to get to the bottom of what his problem is. What's his objection? Why does he not want to combine? After 4 years, why are we not French? We. It's we.
Yeah.
When you're married, it's we, not yours and mine. We're not splitting the mayonnaise, the bologna, and the other stuff in the refrigerator. That's my mustard. Keep your hands off of it. We're not roommates.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not good for your marriage, and it's not good for your wealth building. It's not good for your relationships. It's not good for your level of communication. There's nothing here that's good. So why is he insistent upon doing things that are not good? I'm confused. You are too. So maybe he needs to defend himself on that.
Yeah, well, and I've been the free spirit. I've never been good at handling my money, but I want us to do it together so we can learn together,
Yeah, I mean, if you two laid out a plan that both of you agreed to called a monthly budget, would you stick to it if you had a vote on the plan?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Then free spirit is not the problem.
Yes,
yeah, but a free spirit's not the problem, because even a free spirit can stick to a plan.
Yeah.
If they have a vote and a voice in the plan, now he doesn't get to lay out the plan and then make you do it. That's not what we're talking about.
No, and he wouldn't, because we've tried before, and I don't know what happened, to be honest. But we've tried before to do a budget.
Do you guys have a why that you've laid out when you talk, or does he just not want to talk? Does he just shut down?
No, we've talked. We've done the whole dreaming thing. We want, to build wealth. We both want to change our generation. We want to have a good legacy.
It sounds like
sure
it's a good legacy for him.
Are you sure?
Want a good legacy?
Are you sure that's not just you?
We have talked about it before. And he has said it. I think he carries a lot of shame with having so much, because coming into the relationship, it was his debt. Yeah. And I have debt too. Yeah. But like you said, we get married, it's ours. But he feels shameful.
For richer, for poorer, unto thee, all my worldly goods.
Yeah.
I pledge. For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, unto thee, all my worldly goods, I pledge. This is a relationship issue. It's affecting your money. And I'm getting to the bottom of it if I'm you. This is not okay. Camel, Ramsey Personality, is our co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. One of the number one questions we get here on the air and by email and on our other podcasts is, how do I get my spouse on board? And number one, there's not a magic formula for that. Number two, it is absolutely necessary that you do get them on board, because working a separate plan will eventually cause you to work a separate plan. The number of people who build wealth and have high-quality marriages 30 years into a separate plan is approaching zero.
That's your data, but I think it's right.
It's actual data.
Wow.
I mean, the 10,000 millionaires that we interviewed, the vast majority of them said, I don't remember the number, it was in the 70, 80 percentile, that their spouse and them work together. So there's a high correlation between the ability to build wealth. There's a high correlation between high-quality communication and shared values to having a high-quality marriage. Duh!
Shocker.
Now, what's your best shot? What's our best shot around here of getting the spouse to see that they need to be on board? I can't make the spouse get on board.
Yeah.
But I can help them see how important it is. Number one, data says that you're going to have a crummy marriage and your likelihood of building wealth is going to suck if you're not on the same page and you're not working together, pulling the wagon up the hill together. Both of you have a vote, you know, saver versus spender, free spirit versus nerd, abundance versus scarcity, and you balance each other out. And if two people just get married, one of you is unnecessary, so it's good that opposites attract. But how do you get the spouse to see the need?
I think the biggest piece is starting with that why and having that shared goal. If you can't get excited about the future, why do you care about your present? Why does it even matter to get out of debt if you feel like you like laying in your own poop? And so what we got to do is find a why that gets us on fire a little bit. And what I like to do, some people get inspired by the math. A lot of people haven't even done the math on what that payment would be like to have back in their life. What could they do? What is the interest we're currently paying? Some people need a little bit of that nerdery to go, oh my gosh, I'm paying Sally Mae $600 a month? No, we're getting rid of this thing. So once you combine the why and the math, and then you pair it with something like Financial Peace University, or you both read the Total Money Makeover, you need to create that shared language, because then they understand. It's not just, well, Dave said, we need to get out of debt and do the debt snowball. It becomes we decided that our goal is to change our family tree. We decided that we have bigger goals in life than to pay Sally Mae for the next 20 years. And once you do that, things change, behavior change, habits change, and you start to see some progress. And then you go, oh my gosh, we can do this. And then every couple that stands on the stage, they go, Dave, our marriage is better.
Yeah. What was the key to getting out of debt? Communication, the budget. Well, the two things that come up every time just about.
Yeah.
Right there. You know, and they almost always raise their income. Yeah. But you can't raise your income if the one at home's whining about you working. And it's just the whole thing, it pulls together. And it bothers me when I hear someone say, hey, we went through Financial Peace University, we went to the Marriage and Money event, we did a dream date together, we laid out, some of our why, and then the spouse still won't come to the table. That makes me think something else is going on. Yeah. Because at that point, you have the information in front of you that a logical human being says, the pride I've got that I brought the debt in, I got to let that down, and we got to work together. It's our best shot. The shame I have because I brought in more debt than she brought in, I got to lay that down because it's our best shot as a couple. And so I don't know what's going on there, but something else is going on that's not in the equation that we're hearing that is causing that, because it's not a simple thing of we just don't have a shared vision. Yeah. Because if you can get on a shared vision, then you will come back and do the practical stuff to hit the vision. You'll dial back in and do the tactical, do the budget together, make the sacrificial decisions together, make the decision to sell one of the cars or whatever it is you got to do to get your butt in gear. You'll do that stuff once you see where you're going and it's worth the trip. Yeah. But you won't do it with thank God it's Friday, oh God it's Monday. And you won't do it with I'm a victim. And you won't do it with the little man can't get ahead and the system's rigged. And oh my God, the whining that goes on in this culture. The arrogance of entitlement is unbelievable. But if you just sit out there and say, there's a thing, I can go get that thing if I'll do the steps to get that thing, then that thing can just be financial security, financial peace.
Yeah, and I think you're right. There's a theme I'm seeing here with people that can't get on board, and it's either selfishness or shame. It's either, well, this is mine, and that's yours, and you deal with yours, and I'll deal with mine, or it's the shame where they go, well, this is my debt, and I don't want you to have the burden of that, and there is that pride you got to suck up and go, no, we're a team now, and I didn't sign up for a roommate. I don't know about her, but I don't want to live with a roommate for 30 years. I want to live with a grown adult who decided that we do things together as a family, and I think marriage counseling may be in order for them to get on the same page and dig into the root issue here, because I don't think it's just the budget and money. I think there is something more serious going on.
Yeah. And it scares me what it could be. Melanie is with us in Indianapolis. Hi, Melanie. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I'm actually calling I'm trying to narrow down the question, but it's how do I go about making an income when I'm transitioning from working full-time to being a full-time mom?
Oh. When'd you have your baby?
In April, so she's 5 months old.
Wonderful. How fun. Mm-hmm. How fun. We had our little grandson down at the lake house this weekend. He's 2 months old. And they're fun when they're that age. They don't really cause much trouble except a dirty diaper. Yeah. And that's it. So, yeah, that's awesome. So you want to work or not?
Well, I guess I'm trying to figure out if I'm even approaching this right. My husband makes about $40,000 a year. $45,000 a year. But last year he was a little bit off because most of his commission comes from, he's a salesman at a music store. And so most of his commission is rentals for schools.
Yeah.
So with COVID, we were down a little bit. And so we just built up a little bit more debt than we really wanted to.
So do you want to work or not?
I think I do. I want to contribute in some way.
Okay.
But I would
Are you going to start a small business and do it from home while baby is taking a nap, or are you going back into the workplace?
I'm wanting to do something at home, something I can pretty much do online.
Okay, good. Okay, so that you're there with baby and you work around baby and you kind of control your own time frames.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you could add $10,000 to this equation in a year, you would feel good.
Yeah, if I could add about 10,000 to 20,000.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's realistic. We just need to define what it is you want to go after. It sounds to me like you are a Christy Wright Business Boutique customer. Her material, Business Boutique, equipping women to make money doing what they love, has a lot of ladies who want to stay at home but earn an income from home while watching over the kiddos. And a lot of them have online businesses or freelance businesses or different things where they control the time frames. And so that, while the kids are at school, while the kids are napping, whatever it is, 5 o'clock in the morning before they get up, you do some work and you create some income. And Christy can show you how to do that. I'll send you a copy of the book, Business Boutique. It is a #1 bestseller. And if you'd like to come to Nashville, we have a 3-day event in October. And it's Christy and me and John Deloney and a bunch of high-powered ladies on the stage teaching women how to run a business. And it is absolutely incredible. And I'll give you a couple tickets to that as well and bring a friend with you. So it's Business Boutique in Nashville. And I'll send you the book and that. Because here's what you're going to have to do. You're going to flesh out the whole process of figuring out what skills you have and how to make money with those skills on a limited, controlled schedule.
Yeah, I want to throw one more thing in. Kelly will pick up. I want to give you Ken Coleman's career assessment to help you figure out, because it sounds like you're not really sure what you want to do yet. So going through that will give you that clarity to figure out something you actually enjoy doing. That's a big key.
Yeah, the career assessment is pretty incredible. So, you can take that. We'll give that to you as a gift as well. All for the birthing of the baby. That's awesome. This is The Ramsey Show. Dave here. We just launched a brand new listener survey. We want to know what you think about the show. You'll be entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card. No purchase necessary. Take the survey at RamseySolutions.com/survey or text survey to 33789. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. George Camel, Ramsey personality, host of The Fine Print and the Entree Leadership Podcast, is my co-host today. Open phones here as we talk about your life and your money. The phone number is 888-825-5225. So, George, when I first started teaching this stuff, these principles of getting out of debt, living on less than you make, live on a plan, always be generous, this whole process of the basic principles of personal finance, common sense, biblical financial principles, grandma's common sense. I had just gone through a bankruptcy, and so I was hardcore, and still am to this day, anti-debt. Don't borrow money. Because I discovered that it not only can destroy your life, but on top of that, it can hold you back and keep you from becoming wealthy. So I was the get out of debt guy from day one. And so we started teaching this class. People were coming to the class, and I started this radio show, and they would call in and say, "Okay, now what do I do first? Do I do investing for the kids' college? What about my retirement? And what about this credit card? Do I pay it off? And what about this car? Which one? Where does it fit in the plan? And where do I? And what about saving for an emergency? And I want to pay off my house someday, or I want to buy a house someday. And they would start asking all these questions. And I figured out if you have like 17 things in front of you and you try to do all of them a little bit, nothing gets done. Mm-hmm. The power of focus and a clear path, a clear plan, a clear list of priorities started to emerge because I started to understand that personal finance is 80% behavior and only about 20% head knowledge. And so I first said, okay, you need to get out of debt. That's your first thing. And then I went, well, probably not the house. So the house is like a different thing. But we need to get out of debt with the house. And before we do retirement, we really need an emergency fund because you'll cash out your 401k if you lose your job and you need money to pay the house payment and you don't have an emergency fund. So you need the emergency fund really before you have your 401k. So I started to kind of put these things in order, and I'm looking around at what some of the people in the financial planning community are doing, and a lot of it I agreed with. And then there's some basic guidelines in there. I didn't make up a properly funded emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of expenses. I didn't make that up. That was been out there for a bazillion years. I didn't even make up the debt snowball. I'm best known for it, but I didn't make it up. I saw it somewhere, and it made sense to me. Pay off the smallest debt rather than the highest interest rate because you get that zoom, that kick in the pants psychologically when you get things paid off. And so if you want to eat an elephant, it's overwhelming. How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time?
A bite at a time. And so we started teaching what we call the baby steps, and the first baby step was get out of debt. Later on, I went back and I added a new baby step one. First, have $1,000, and then use the debt snowball and get out of debt. Because people had no money and like they'd blow a tire. I mean, it'd be like $100 thing, and then they would just quit. Because, oh, God, the whole thing fell apart. I was getting out of debt. I was doing fine. That tire went, and now I'm done. And they had no margin at all, so I put $1,000 in there, not for an emergency fund, but just for a little bit of wiggle room so when a little emergency comes up, it doesn't derail you emotionally. So thus was born the baby steps.
Wow. Who knew they would be so controversial? Right? Did you ever think you'd get so much well, I agree with Dave on this, but when it comes to baby step 4, there's all kind. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, millions of people have done it. And they go, Dave, this worked. And my whole life, I couldn't figure out how to manage my money, and I just followed a proven plan, someone else's process, and it changed everything.
It turned into the book, The Total Money Makeover. The Proven Plan to Financial Fitness is the subtitle. And
you sold a few of those.
Sold approaching 10 million copies now. And some of them are on shelves collecting dust, have never been opened. Some of them are on coffee tables as a really nice coaster and have never been opened. But some of them have actually been read. And we have documented proof that millions and millions and millions of families have not only gotten out of debt, but have started to become millionaires, baby steps millionaires, using these baby steps. It is a proven plan. Now, you can work whatever plan you want to work, but don't call it my plan. Call it your plan. This is the Ramsey plan. This is the plan everyone at Ramsey has agreed on. This is the shortest path, and to the extent you modify it, I think you lengthen the time it's going to take you to become wealthy. This is the shortest distance between where you are and financial peace, the shortest distance between where you are and a level of wealth that allows you to retire with dignity, begin to change your family tree, and have some peace in your life. Baby step 1 is
save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. That's it.
You should do that in 30 days or less. Some of you have more than $1,000 in a savings account today. Set aside $1,000. That is baby step 1. You're done. That easy. Some of you did it instantaneously. Some of you will do it out of this paycheck. It's $1,000. Shut up. Do it now. Quickly. Immediately. Roll coins. Sell crap out of the corner of your couch. Put stuff on eBay. Those old golf clubs. You got 17 sets of old golf clubs. Get rid of all of them. You know, all this stuff, right? And so get the $1,000 quickly. Any money you have that is above that is not in a retirement account, goes on to baby step 2.
Yeah, so once we have that foundation, that buffer, we move on to baby step 2, where we pay off all of our consumer debt except the house using the debt snowball method.
Which is?
This is where we're going to lay out all of our payments regardless of the interest rate. This is what gets people. We're ignoring the interest rate, and we're just doing it by the balance. So we're going to lay them all out from smallest to largest, and we're going to pay minimum payments on all of those debts except for that smallest one.
And attack it with a vengeance.
Laser focused.
Like your freaking life depended on it. You work so much that your kids don't know your name, and it doesn't matter because they're up for sale on eBay anyway. I mean, you got to get with it. You sell so much stuff, the kids think they're next. The dog's on eBay and the cat's on Craigslist. I mean, everything is gone. We're not going out to eat. Don't talk to me about going out to eat. You're broke and in debt. You have to get out of debt. You can go out to eat later, whiner. Get a skillet and cook something. My grandmother used to say, "Can I fry you an egg?" Get you something to cook. Come on now, seriously, people. It costs 1/10 to cook a meal at home what it does to go to a restaurant and buy it. And the reason is restaurant is entertainment. It is not food. I'm not against restaurants. I love restaurants. I will go to one tonight. But I can freaking afford it. I'm not broken in debt anymore because I didn't go out to eat for a period of time. And you're not going on vacation either. Going on vacation, you're broke. You got to be kidding me. So you're going to work your debts off smallest to largest in that order. 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside is baby step 3, where you have that set aside for your emergency fund. And you're set up for that. And then it goes on to baby step 4, 15% of your income into retirement. 5 is kids' college savings. The 6 is we're going to pay off the house early. The typical family working this system pays it off. It pays off the house in 7 to 10 years. And they're millionaires in around 11 years.
Incredible.
Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless. George Camel Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. 888-225. If you're like most people, you've got more than enough on your mind right now. Getting the kids where they need to be, keeping up with the bills, staying on top of work and family. It's exhausting, stressful. The money thing, oh man, for a lot of people. I remember, it just makes your throat tight, your stomach come up in your throat. It's just bad. Listen, there's a plan that we were just talking about in the last segment that'll help you get on track, the baby steps. And the way we teach you how to do that the most efficiently, and the way we develop those baby steps over all these years, is through Financial Peace University. It'll show you how to get out of debt, save money, build wealth for the future, be outrageously generous. You can stream all 9 lessons on your own, or you can join a class with other people so you're not figuring it out alone. People are good to be around, you know. And the only way to experience Financial Peace University is with a Ramsey Plus membership. Plan works every time. Ask the 6 million people who have done it. Start your free trial at Ramsey Plus and get into Financial Peace University. It's a free trial. Text the word trial to 33789. That's trial to 33789. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They're a wonderful American company. I've been endorsing these guys for a long time. Got their window blinds in my own home personally. Find out for yourself why they're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run all the time, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from Robert in Tennessee. To say the home selling market in Tennessee is hot is an understatement, but I also have heard it's the worst time to buy a home for that very reason. The value of our home has gone up considerably, and my wife and I would like to sell in order to upgrade to a larger home. Is now the right time to cash in our equity and make this purchase?
What do you think?
It's a good question from Robert. Well, he's saying the value of his home has gone up, and, you know, everyone's has because it's a hot market. And so there's this fever to go, well, I want to sell, I can upgrade, but here's the problem. When you go to upgrade, well, now you're trying to buy a house that is also appreciated in value. And so there's kind of a trade-off here where you've got to go, what's the right move financially? Regardless of where the market's at, can I afford that upgraded house? Is it a wise move for us to do, regardless of what your house is going to sell for?
Yeah. The problem with selling at the top of the market is you have to buy at the top of the market. The problem with selling in a frenzied market where there's 17 offers in 2 days is you have to buy in a frenzied market where there's 17 offers in 2 days. And so unless you are somehow, for some reason, making some kind of a different move where you cash out now but use that money later or use it in a different way, then just to buy in a frenzied market and sell in a frenzied market it's frenzied. Hello. I mean, high stress scenario to do it right now. And so I think the breakdown, at least in the way you've worded your question, the breakdown in your wife's logic is she sees that you can get a lot for your house, but hasn't considered that it's going to take a lot to buy the next one. And so I don't think homes are going to come down. They've gone way up, but not artificially. It's just it was an artificial demand, and it was a COVID supply demand in the basically the new housing market. The supply chain got screwed up because the lumber market and a few other markets, they couldn't get houses out of the ground, and labor market couldn't get houses out of the ground, and that slowed up and created a supply-demand problem, meaning there was a shortage of housing, and that drove this market and created a little bit of artificial inflation. But I don't think next year houses are going to come down. I don't think the year after that they're going to come down. And why do I think that? Because I got my real estate license in 1978. And if you look back on the real estate market since 1950, so 75 years, you've not seen houses go down in value in 75 years, year over year, except in a few markets once. And that was 2008, when there was a housing bubble and there was a real problem, a housing economic crisis. This is not a housing economic crisis. This is an overall supply chain screw up due to COVID. And the economic suppression that came along with making everyone sit in their homes on their thumbs. And it screwed up the economy. Now, you can argue about the medical part of it or not, but you can't really argue about the economic part of it. It screwed up the economy. making people sit at home and not work screwed up the economy, straight up, okay? So, would you buy and sell a house this year? Only if you want the stress of selling in a frenzied market and buying in a frenzied market. I don't worry about the height of the prices as much as I do the process. The process to sell a typical home today is you're basically having an auction. And the process for buying a typical home today is you're basically having an auction. And that is a high-stress scenario for most people. And people end up doing things they regret later in high-stress scenarios. So unless you've got a situation where you can move. I'm moving this year, but I sold a ridiculously large house that really would have been very tough to sell in any kind of market other than this. And I thought, you know what, God, if you want to sell this house, I've had fun with it for 12 years. This sounds like a really good time to get out. And I got out. And I cashed out. But I'm doing something different there than just moving from house to house to house to house. You know, I'm about a house, but it's not nowhere near as big and all this. And so we didn't even say we need to downsize. We didn't say that. We said, hey, we're going to cash out at the top on this, and we'll just buy something over here. That's a little different than I want to move up, and neither one of the homes we bought are typical either, by the way.
And our team, the Ramsey research team, just released the Q2 State of Personal Finance study, and they found that the majority of people are waiving inspections and appraisals because of how crazy it is. They are way overpaying above asking price. I'm not talking about $2,000 more. We're talking $50,000, $75,000 above asking to get a
guy on our team sold a $750,000 house the other day, $120,000 above market, and he took one of the 22 offers.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was about a month and a half ago.
And that's what they're going to be dealing with.
Yeah.
If they sell this house, well, now they've got a whole other situation over here. So I don't think it's this, hey, the housing market's hot, let's all sell right now. It's not going to work out like that.
Well, I mean, if you got someplace else to live until the thing cools off, that's okay. But to buy and the repurchasing of it is the problem in most people's situation right now. I will tell you this, too. In the last 90 days, the market has calmed down considerable. I'd say the activity is about half of what it was in Middle Tennessee. It's still very hot, but it was white hot, frenzied 90 days ago.
Yeah.
That story I just told you was about 90 days ago that happened. Rachel's with us. Rachel's in Wichita, Kansas. Hi, Rachel. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Hi, George. It's a blessing to get to talk to you today.
You too. What's up?
Well, I have a question regarding our retirement savings. I'm 51. My husband's 55. And we recently reached what I consider a milestone amount in our 401k, or his, of about $750,000.
Way to go!
And yay! Thank you. We've followed your investment recommendations as far as the 4 different types of mutual funds.
And it worked.
So at this point, it did work. Yes, it worked beautifully. At this point, we're wondering, is there a point when we should move some or all of this into some more conservative investments?
No.
Okay.
Let me explain to you where that comes from. That's called the asset allocation model, and it's a theory in financial planning that is widely accepted in the financial planning community. As you can guess, I'm contrarian to a lot of things that are widely accepted in any community, much less the financial planning community. So the theory is that when you turn 60 or so, you should start moving your money away from any kind of equities into bonds and money markets to stabilize, remove the volatility in your golden years. Okay? That's the basis of the theory. And so by the time you're 70, you should have almost nothing in stock-type mutual funds. You should be largely in bonds and money markets and very stable-type instruments at that point. That's the standard financial planning model. Again, it's called the asset allocation model. The problem with that is, with someone that has built the level of wealth that you have built, is you're probably never going to actually touch the $1 million that you have. You're probably just going to live off the income that it creates.
Okay.
And if you move it to where it creates less income, I don't see the purpose in that. You can afford to ride out any waves that model says you can't afford to ride out, so you need to stabilize the volatility. And since you've got sufficient assets, I'm 61, I have 0 in bonds, 0 in money markets due to volatility. All of mine is invested in growth stock type mutual funds. I'm going to ride it out, and I can afford to. You can too. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Raymond and Stephanie are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, Dave. Hey, George.
Great.
Welcome.
Happy to be here.
So good to have you. Where do you guys live?
We're out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Cool. Well, welcome to Nashville. Very
Thank you.
fun to have you. And all the way over here to do a debt-free scream. How much did you pay off?
We paid off $229,000, $900, and we also cash rolled an additional $130,000.
Wow. Wow. And how long did this take?
41 months.
All right. Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
We started about 240 and finished at around 200.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm in construction product sales.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in escrow and title until COVID hit, and then I took the early retirement.
All right. Good for you. I like it. So what kind of debt was this $230,000?
It was the mortgage, Dave.
Oh, look at it, weird people! Paid for house. I love it. Very cool. What's the house worth?
Probably about $700,000.
It's all yours.
Yeah.
I love it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, tell us about this 41-month journey. What put you on to doing this stuff that we teach?
Well, our story goes back a lot farther than that. 41 months ago, we just got sick and tired of being sick and tired and broke. And we had a great credit score, but we didn't have squat. And so if you go back when we first got married some 31 years ago, we had more bills than we had money.
Sure.
And so before we even heard of Dave Ramsey, we created our own debt snowball. And we just figured, a lot like yourself and probably a lot of other people, we just needed to pay off the lowest bill. I took a second job, did a side hustle, working at a dock and loading and unloading trucks while I was working my job, and just took one bill at a time, tore it up, and we were performing our plastectomies before we even knew what they were.
I love it.
And got rid of them one by one, but of course we were doing it our way, and we never heard of Dave Ramsey at that point, so we did a whole lot of stupid after that.
I just did a lot of crying when we were trying to do bills with no money.
Yeah, she was sitting at the kitchen table crying, and I'm saying, no, this isn't going to happen. We need to change things.
Yeah.
So, but then we just got rid of all that debt and created new debt, bought new homes, leased cars, and just created just a bunch more debt. The good thing that we did all the way along, even though we didn't do it in your right order, was we were contributing to 401k from day one, 15%.
Great.
And then one day, Stephanie came home and said, I heard this guy, Dave Ramsey, on the radio. And I said, Dave Ramsey? And we picked up your book. I read chapter 1. I'm like, we're doing this. But
so KTAR radio, huh?
Yeah.
They're in Phoenix.
That's
it.
it.
Great radio station,
Yep.
yeah.
And but we kind of kept thinking we could do it our way. So we had one credit card for points, made decent money. We didn't have nothing in the bank, but we figured it was okay. And finally, like I said, we got to the point where 3.5 years ago, just about, where we were just tired and we needed a plan for retirement, and we thought we need to kick it into high gear now.
Yeah.
So we downsized at that point, tore up the one and only credit card that we had, and we took and taught our first FPU class.
Oh, wow.
Virtually last year.
It's hard to not do the stuff when you're teaching.
Right. We thought we better give up the credit card. We can't pretty much preach it if we don't do it.
That's pretty much a hypocrite, yeah.
Right.
Right. And then created our little graph and just took every lump sum we could and paid it all off.
Wow. That's so cool.
I told Ray when we downsized, I said, we can do this. We can do this in 5.5 to 6 years. We started the plan. I'm like, we're doing this in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
He's like, put it on a chart, and we did it. So.
I love it. That is so cool.
Dave, we were like the business fable of the chicken and the pig, with the ham and the eggs, where the chicken's involved, but the pig is really committed.
Yeah.
Well, we were the chicken for longest period of time, and then we decided, you know what? If we're going to do this, we need to be all in.
Pig committed.
That's it.
I like it.
That's it.
Very good. All in. I'm gonna put what it takes. I'm gonna do what it takes.
Yeah. So what do you think the key was to getting out of debt for you two?
Commitment and perseverance. I mean, there's just a lot of just giving it our all and not giving up, and as you always ask who our biggest cheerleaders were, I mean, we were each other's. I mean, we didn't share a whole lot with people because we're, embarrassed or whatever, or didn't know how to share certain things. So together we just said, hey, this is what we're doing,
Yeah, and then I'd say for me, I mean, it was definitely our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We wouldn't be here today without him. So I knew that needed to be there. And then you really have to have a tight, loving relationship with the person you're doing this with, no doubt about it. And if we weren't on the same page, there's no way. Yeah. And I know Steph had a hard time with the budget.
I'm not friendly to the budget.
But yeah, definitely being committed and disciplined and to know why you're doing what you're doing to change your future and your family tree.
So 31 years of marriage, and this is the first time you've ever been debt-free.
That's it.
Completely.
Yeah. Way to go, guys.
Yeah.
So how much is in the 401k?
We're over $1 million. So
you're approaching a $2 million net worth then.
That's it.
Your baby steps millionaires and your debt free.
Yep.
Actually,
way to go, guys.
Actually, our net worth.
Yeah, we're actually probably closer to $3 million.
Okay.
So
I had the $750,000 house and the $1 million net and the $1 million 401k. That's all I had. So it must be some other stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. $3 million's not bad, dude.
Wow.
For a guy who used to work on the dock.
Right.
Well done, man. Well done. You guys rocking it.
Thanks,
I love it. That is so cool.
So how does it feel?
Feels amazing. It feels surreal, because it's like anything else. Once you've been doing it and trying, and again, our journey was we were trying to do it our way for so long, and then when you finally get on it, if it doesn't feel like you really didn't cross the finish line because it was such a process to get there, but now I think our biggest joy is trying to mentor and give, wherever we can for other people. And I think that's the joy that we get. Yeah.
We use your name as a cuss word all the time. Hey, Dave Ramsey, you got to do his plan. I think we're bugging people so much. This is how we did it. We love this guy. Do it our way, do it his way. But
well, I mean, you're standing there worth $3 million, so it worked, huh? Right. There you go. There's that. I mean, like you said, you kind of went at it side-angled a little bit on a couple of the steps, but you still got there.
Yeah.
And very, very well done. Very proud of y'all. Thanks for teaching financial peace, too. It's got to be inspiring to the couples that are in there to have their coordinator be worth $3 million.
Yeah, I'm listening to what they're doing.
And everything.
I'll take their advice.
Yeah.
Well, we also wanted to thank you, Dave, because what you do and all your on-air personalities, you guys add so much, and it's really what invigorated us. And your teaching, the way you do it in such a candid way, but also a brutally honest way when you need to. I love it. It's common sense at its best, and there's just not enough of that.
Well,
so
thanks,
thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We got a copy of the Legacy Journey for you. That's what you're living in now, is the new legacy, and of course a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away and pay it forward to somebody. So very, very well done, you guys. So proud of you, heroes.
Thank
I love
you.
meeting Baby Steps millionaires. It's awesome. Very cool. Good for you guys. Very, very well done. Raymond and Stephanie, Phoenix, Arizona. $230,000 paid off in 41 months. That's the house and everything. Making $240 to $200. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
Ready, babe? 3, 2, 1. We're debt free!
Look at them.
With the kiss.
Step up. I love it. This is how it's done.
Incredible.
Man, that's fun.
Hand in hand. That's what happens when you get on the same page with your
So
spouse.
you can do it if you're 31 or if you've been married for 31.
That's
either
right.
one. You can do it either way.
But you got to get on the same page
Yep. And they said that was essential.
to making a $3 million net worth. Look at that.
Ding, ding. Yeah, of course, we don't know anything at Ramsey about, building wealth. We're just about getting people out of debt.
That's right.
We're not really good for you if you want to build wealth. So you shouldn't really follow our stuff if you really want to become wealthy. So say the trolls. This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Michelle is with us in Milwaukee. Hi, Michelle. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you so much for all that you've been doing. I've been listening to your advice since I was a teenager, went through high school and college.
Wow.
Graduated in 2001 and came out wanting to start my own business and have peace with it, and I did.
Good.
And been able to run my own music studio since 2001. 2003, got in a massive car accident. By 2004, I had $125K worth of debt and was able to pay off student loan debt and medical debt and then purchase a home by 2009. So I wanted to thank you for that advice.
Thank you.
And was wondering, now that I'm married and my husband and I have gone through another long stretch of that. 2014, we were on our way, only had $50K worth of debt. I got cancer, and then we had to start over from scratch again with the medical debt. So now, fast forward, sold the house past COVID. Pre-COVID 2020, we had $421,000 worth of debt. Now we're at $323,000 worth of debt. I run my own business.
Counting a house or not?
Counting the house, yes, sir. I'm sorry.
How much of that's
counting
house?
The house?
How much of that's your house?
$280 is
how much
the house.
how much non-mortgage debt?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. $33,000 is a vehicle. $7,000 is revolving credit card debt because of a business. My husband is a private contractor.
Is it $10,000? Is that the only debt you have other than your house?
The $33,000 for a car.
Oh,
and
$33,000 for a car.
Yes, yeah. So I make at my music studio, I make about $4,200 a month. When my husband is under contract, he can make between $18,000 and $20,000 a month. He works between 7 to 10 months out of the year. He wants to retire soon, but obviously we don't have a lot of money in the bank because of that. We currently have $54K in the bank. He's retired military. His military pension will start in when he's 65. And
What's
he'll
your
get
question?
about $3,000 a month. Sorry, sir. My question is, where do I contribute? Do I do the HSA and max out my 401ks, or do I do my emergency fund first? Because we never know if he's working and not working. So my emergency fund right now is at 3 months of our expenses.
It sounds like you're doing the baby steps out of order, because you're saying you have a bunch of consumer debt, but you've got your emergency fund in place. Like, you're trying to do a lot of things at once, it sounds like.
Yeah, because we never know whether or not he's going to be having a job. So our monthly income will fluctuate.
Stop.
Oh, sorry.
I don't care if he's having a job or not. He's making plenty of money.
Okay.
And you may need to set some money aside that's not an emergency fund to fill in, but you're making $4,200 a month. Can't y'all live on that?
Yeah, we can.
Then
we
do
can
it.
live on that. That's the goal. That's
then
the
do
goal.
It. No, that's not the goal. Stop having a goal. Do it.
Okay. Our monthly bills.
So if
right
you are living
now,
on $4,200 a month, then you don't need to set back money for when he doesn't have a job.
Right. Exactly.
So
yeah.
let's take all that money, like George said, and get out of debt. A $33,000 car debt.
Yeah.
And you've been listening to me since 2001.
Yes, sir. My husband didn't quite get on board until after I started playing your radio program every day during COVID. So he finally is on board. That's the next.
Write a check today and pay off your car.
Yeah,
write a check and pay off your car. Yeah, pay off your car.
Okay.
And pay off your other debt. You're debt free today, but a house, and you still got $10,000 left over if I calculated that right.
Yeah. Yeah, so my question is then, how do we contribute? Max out the HSAs and the 401ks for the tax shelter first, and then go towards retirement? What's the next step?
I'm still trying to get you through baby step 3.
Mm-hmm.
You keep jumping ahead.
Yeah, I have a problem with being patient.
Yeah, and it's cost you because you have to keep starting over. It's kind of like the old. You're not old enough, but there was an old game we played in the yard when we were kids called Mother May I. And if you took a step forward without being told you could, you had to take penalty steps back. And that's what keeps happening to you.
Yeah. I want you to follow the baby steps. And if you do that, you've got a lot of money in the bank, which is great, because that means you can be debt-free today. And you said you already have 3 months saved outside of that? Or does that include that?
Yeah, I have 3 months. I have 3 months saved out of that, but the money that we have in the bank is in the 401ks, though. It's not.
Oh, this is retirement accounts we're talking. So you don't have $54,000 in a savings account in cash.
Correct. In cash, we have between 18 and 21,000.
You don't have a 401k in a bank. There's no such thing.
Oh, yeah, I understand that. We're in the process of moving the 401k from one institution to the next, so it's in the cash mode right now, and then they're moving it. So maybe my description of that.
Okay, I'm dizzy.
There's a lot going on here.
Here's what you need to do. I'm going to put you on hold, and we're going to put you into Financial Peace University. The two of you go to Financial Peace University. Both of you watch the lessons together and do exactly what we tell you to do in that. And stop all this other crap. You're driving me nuts. I mean, you've chased your tail 6 times in this one conversation. So I thought you had $54,000 in the bank. Why? Because you told me that. And you don't have $54,000 in the bank. You have $54,000 in an IRA rollover. And you're rolling it over into mutual funds, not over into another 401k. And you need to work and get yourself out of debt. Probably need to sell the $33,000 car. It sounds like you don't have the money to pay it off. And if you don't have the money to pay it off, it needs to go bye-bye. And then we need an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. In addition to that, I need you to save some money to cover the down months when he's not working. Then and only then do you start your retirement savings. And then on contract labor, you use a Roth IRA because he does not have a 401k on contract labor. You have a 401k if you work for someone else, or you are self-employed and you have a simple IRA, which is a 401k for self-employed people. But that's the only thing you can do, is something along those lines. And sit down and talk with a SmartVestor Pro. They'll help you put all that together, but they will not help you put all that together until you get out of debt and have an emergency fund in place. And you have got to do that before you do anything else. Do it in order, and you'll not have to start over so dadgum many times. That's what you're facing.
And the question was, can we retire soon?
No.
We've got
You're
to clean
broke.
this mess up.
You don't have any money. You have $54,000 to your name. You can't retire. You're working. Sorry. You're working for a while. I mean, you got a $33,000 car debt. You're not even close to retirement. You got to get rid of the car. You're working for a little while. The good news is he makes a pile of money. And if you'll stop just throwing this money in 63 different directions, get yourself cleaned up, get that foundation laid in place, and then really you can pile up a good pile of money and retire fairly soon. Yeah. But you're not going to retire this year. You're broke. You're broke. You're not going to retire this year.
People try to do it out of order, and they go, well, Dave, you got to understand my situation. We got a lot going on here. Yeah, there is a lot going on, and that's why you need to follow this plan to a T, because it works with no exception.
So hang on. Kelly will pick up. We'll put you into Ramsey Plus membership, and that'll get you guys into Financial Peace University, and that's the shortest possible path I know to get you all to retirement. Follow that exactly. So, George, the other thing that comes up that flashed through my head, I look at social media about once a month, and every time I do, it's a mistake. It's like reading comments after an article. You ever read an article on the internet and then read comments?
It's a cesspool.
The comments are where the dumbest, meanest humans on the planet live, is in comments. You understand why some species eat their young when you read comments. And so social media, especially Twitter, is about the same point these days. And but this Dave Ramsey's one size fits all. Let me help you with this. There are some principles in life. There are some principles that you operate your life by that one size does fit all. That's why they call them principles. Tell the truth. One size fits all. You all ought to do it. You ought to be truthful. You ought to have integrity. The law of gravity. One size fits all. Everyone gets to play with equal rules. You know, those who follow a proven process in the financial world, they get a proven result 100% of the time. So, yeah, getting out of debt is one size fits all. Just like the law of gravity.
Everyone should do it.
Just like telling the truth. It works every freaking time for everyone listening. If you can fog up a mirror, it'll work for you. This is The Ramsey Show. Dave here. We just launched a brand new listener survey. We want to know what you think about the show. You'll be entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card. No purchase necessary. Take the survey at RamseySolutions.com/survey or text survey to 33789. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show. Thank you for joining us. Open phones at 888-825-5225. So, George, 30 years ago when I started teaching this stuff, I was first teaching people how to get out of debt, live on a budget, be generous, live on less than you make. So you have a plan, you avoid debt, you save money for emergencies and later for investing. And all of those principles work, but people kept saying, which one do I do first? And so I started laying out, well, you should do this first and that first. You should have an emergency fund before you start your 401k. And then I figured out it's easier to have an emergency fund if you don't have any payments. And so you need to get out of debt first. Because, of course, I learned my lesson the hard way, going bankrupt and getting out of debt, and learning how important it was to be debt-free as a part of building wealth. So all of that started to formulate after a few years of teaching in various settings and what became Financial Peace University. It used to be called Life After Debt. And it started becoming what we now call the baby steps. And the interesting thing is that now the baby steps have gone into the Total Money Makeover book, which has sold almost 10 million copies. And they have become the proven plan, the shortest distance between where you are now and wealth. Where you are, if you'll live like no one else later, you can live and give like no one else. What is the shortest distance? And we need a path to run on, because the way you eat an elephant, it's overwhelming. Do I do my 401k with the match, or my kid's college? Or do I have an emergency fund? Or do I pay on this 18% credit card debt? Or, and nothing gets done. You get paralysis of the analysis. You get frozen.
Absolutely. And this step, these baby steps have worked for me. They've worked for millions. And it's really simple. If you do it, they work. And it all starts with baby step one, having this foundation, saving $1,000 for a starter emergency fund. This is just a small buffer between you and life before we start tackling the debt.
Exactly. And if you have $1,000 already, great. Just set that aside. That's your baby step one. Any money you have that's not retirement, anything you can sell that is not retirement, you're going to liquidate it. If it's not retirement, you got some stock over here that Grandpa left you. You got a gold bar under your bed. I don't know what it is, but you got any money that's above $1,000. Maybe you got $10,000 in a savings account. That's $9,000 you've got that you don't need past baby step one. We're going to put it all on baby step two. And baby step two is the famous one. That's the debt snowball, where you list your debts smallest to largest. You pay minimum payments on everything but the little one, and you attack the little one with a vengeance. Side note, baby step one should not take you more than 30 days. Maximum. You need to work extra, sell some stuff, have a garage sale, put the kids on Craigslist, whatever you got to do here. Let's get it done. And, you know, we're going to get busted into this, get $1,000 quick. Baby step two, you should be debt-free, but your house. Now, you may have to sell a stupid boat. You may have to take an extra job. But most people that have followed the Total Money Makeover baby steps in Financial Peace University are debt-free inside of 2 years.
Yeah, and that's with doing it with some gazelle intensity, like you talk about in Financial Peace University. And once you pay off all that debt, now you freed up all those payments, right? You have that income back in your life.
Think about what it'd be like to have no payments but a house payment. Wow.
We're breathing easy. And then we can move on to baby step three, where we save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. This is the final buffer where we say we're never going back into debt, because we are the bank now.
Yep. Grandma's rainy day fund. Why? It's going to rain. Dave, you need to be positive. I'm positive. It's going to rain. You need to be ready when crap happens. There's a pandemic coming around every corner. There's something coming, and if you have $20,000 cash in the bank, 3 to 6 months of expenses, whatever it is, and you have no payments, you are the third pig in the three little pigs, the one that's in the brick house when the big bad wolf comes. You're ready for life. You're ready to go. Now you're ready to build wealth. But that you just now have gotten up to ground zero. You've just now gotten up to even. When you have that emergency fund and you're debt free, now you're ready to build wealth. And in baby step 4, you put 15% of your income aside into good growth stock mutual funds in retirement plans. Start where there's a match. Beyond the match, always do Roth. And if you've exhausted Roth and match and still are not to 15%, then go on to a traditional 401k or IRA. But do Roths before traditional and do match before Roths. It's mathematically in your favor to do that, up to the 15%. Don't do 20%. Don't do 11%. Do 15%. While you are doing baby steps 4, you're also going to be doing 5 and 6 simultaneously.
Absolutely. So baby step 5 is where we're saving for our children's college fund. And this is going to look different for everyone. There's no set number here because it really depends on your situation.
Did you have the baby last week, or is the baby 18? That makes a difference on how much you need for college, right? I mean, what you got to do for college. It's like, is this an oh crap moment, or hey, we're going to be diligent and save? Did we wait almost until too late? Now, they have to go to college debt free. They cannot participate in this epic student loan system failure that is called America right now. It is horrible out there. Do not let your kids go in debt. You do not have to go to debt. Go to community college for free for 2 years. Go to in-state school. Work 6 jobs. Get scholarships. Our student loan problem is a parenting problem. Mom and dad let kids sign up for crap they couldn't afford. Bad mama, bad daddy.
They got to have the conversations. That's where it starts. And there's a reason you say baby step 4, invest for yourself before the kids, because there's a 100% chance you're going to retire. There's a 50-50 chance or less these days that your kid's going to go to college.
And graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah, this less than 50% chance they're going to graduate. So this is important. So while you're doing 15%, you do whatever you need to do for your kids' college, whatever you decide to do for your kids' college. Beyond that, if you can find any money, you do that on baby step 6, and that's pay off your house. Start chunking on the house. Now, when you're in 1 through 3, you are so intense your friends are freaking out. Your grandmother thinks you need counseling. You are gazelle intense like a gazelle running from a cheetah. When you're in 4 through 7, you're not intense anymore. You are now intentional. You're just doing it on purpose, but you're no longer on beans and rice. You're on beans and rice, rice and beans, scorched earth on 1 through 3 till you get those 3 things done. Now, get that house paid off. The average person following this stuff is paying off their home in about 7 or 8 years. Now, that tells us that the whole program is taking about 10 years, and the average baby steps millionaire, the average everyday millionaire that we've studied, we're finding them become a millionaire from the time they start with intensity followed by intentionality, become a millionaire in about 10 and a half years.
Yeah.
11.2 years, 10.6 years are the 2 numbers we keep running into. So this is completely possible.
Yeah, and once you pay off that house, it's time to build wealth and give outrageously in baby step 7. That's where it ends.
Yeah, you will be a millionaire shortly after your home is paid for if you don't at that moment. And then you continue to build wealth, and you raise your generosity, and you continue to build wealth, and you raise your generosity. And you enjoy the money at that point.
That's where it gets fun.
These are the things. The only 3 things you can do with money, and you should do all of them at baby step 7. And that's the route you're going. That's where you are. That's who you are. That is the baby steps. This is the Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
George Camel, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. Jason is in Washington, D.C. Hi, Jason. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, George. How you guys doing today?
Better than we deserve, brother. What's up?
Oh, man, I've been pondering purchasing a home here. I've been looking into it now for about 6 months or so. Actually was under contract and got out, but now I'm just pondering the whole idea over again and wondering if it's even something that I should get into now or if I should kind of hold off for a while and save some more money. So just looking for some guidance there.
Are you out of debt?
So I have $16,000 in student loan debt, which is currently not accruing interest. I don't believe it starts again until February, I believe.
That doesn't matter. You need to pay it off. How much money do you have saved?
About $55,000.
Is that your only debt?
I have a vehicle which I purchased a few months ago. I put 20% down on. I owe about $23,000 on that.
Okay. We teach folks, Jason, not to buy a house until they're debt-free and have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses plus a down payment. You do not have that much. No, you do not need to buy a house right now. You need to pay off your car, pay off your student loan, build an emergency fund, and then build a down payment.
How much of a down payment? I mean, 20%? That's kind of, I think, what you...
I'd love for you to have that because you'll avoid PMI, private mortgage insurance. But on a first-time home purchase, I don't yell at people for having less than that.
Yeah.
But I will yell at you for having a car payment and a student loan when you buy a house. You're asking for trouble.
Right.
And I'll yell at you not only for the entertainment value, but just also to help you.
Yeah, no, I understand. Please. I enjoy the entertainment as well.
I'm messing with you, but it's all good, brother. So the thing is this. If you buy a house with payments, you are inviting Murphy to move into your spare bedroom. Your transmission will go out the first week.
Yeah. No, I could probably, even if I don't, knock it all out at once, I could probably kind of chunk away at the student loan debt in the vehicle over the course of the next year.
No. You misunderstood. You have the money in the bank today to pay them off.
Oh, you're saying do it right now.
By the end of the day, brother. Moments after you get off the air, you should be debt-free.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then build an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. You ever heard of us talk about the baby steps?
I have.
Yeah.
I tuned into you for a while, and then I stopped, and I just happened to turn it on today, and I've been listening for about the past 2 hours, and wanted to give you a call.
Yeah. Well, you heard us just describe it. You heard us describe it in the last segment, right?
I did. I actually took a couple notes.
Oh, that's good. Well, I took some notes here too. And you got $55,000 in cash, and you have $39,000 in debt, which means you're debt-free today with about, $16,000 left over, which may be an emergency fund. I don't know what that looks like for you of 3 to 6 months of expenses. Only then are you going to start at zero and start saving for this down payment. So I know it hurts because you've been saving up this money, but that money's not down payment money. That money is now debt money. That money is going towards your emergency fund. And then I want you to start saving up, like Dave said, 20% towards that down payment. And on top of that, I want you to do it within these parameters. I want you to do it on a 15-year fixed rate mortgage where the payment is no more than a quarter of your take-home pay. What that's going to allow you to do is do the other baby steps and have margin in your life to where you can actually enjoy things.
Perfect. That's exactly what you should do. Lena is with us in Tucson, Arizona. Hi, Lena. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I am a little bit at odds with my husband. My husband has been bit by the solar bug.
The solar bug?
I didn't know that was a bug.
Are those loose in Arizona?
Sometimes. No, he is determined to get us to get solar, and I disagree as it would result in a loan because we don't have the finances to do it outright.
And your question is what?
How do I convince him it's a bad idea?
Why do you think it's a bad idea?
It bothers me. The whole idea of having a loan just creates more financial pressure, and I feel like stressed. And I'm the one that does all the books.
Yeah. So it is. I believe in solar panels. I endorse solar panel companies in several of our 600 markets that this show airs in, and I am not against solar at all. As a matter of fact, the solar technology is greatly advanced over what it was 10 or 15 years ago. And so the quality of it, it's like batteries in the battery-operated cars. The whole thing's different than it was a few years ago. The batteries wouldn't last 10 minutes. Now they last, for 300 miles. Same thing's true in solar. The efficiency has gone way up. So they're excellent products. There is not an excellent product on the planet that I will tell you to buy with debt.
Mm-hmm.
Bad idea. Well, wait a minute, it pays for itself. Yeah, over 5 years, during which time the solar panels become worth zero. They do not add value to your home. There's no market study that shows they add value to the home equal to their cost. So the only way you make your money back is on savings on utilities. And if you got a 5 year or less break-even period, that's a pretty sweet break-even period on solar. And the only way you invest in something with a 5 year break-even period is with cash.
Yeah, his biggest argument is that we'd be trading our $400 electric bill for a $150 loan.
No, that's not true, is the problem, because the value of the stinking things is going down. You sell the house, the loan is screwing up your house sale. You've got a mess on your hands. He's only thinking about this month. He's not looking at the overall picture. It's a very bad analysis that leads people to finance solar panels. Don't do it. I agree with you. I wouldn't do it. Anything you want to add? Or
No, I mean, the biggest thing here is, I don't know how much debt you guys have, Lena, but I want you guys to realize that debt freedom is just a lifestyle that you're going to live, and that means we're going to figure out a way to pay for this thing in cash. Now, I mean a sinking fund for 6 months that we put this money towards in order to pay for that in cash. That's the only way I want you to get these solar panels.
Only way that makes any sense at all. All right, Brittany is with us. Brittany's in Madison, Wisconsin. Hi, Brittany. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So my husband and I are thinking of, we already signed up for the LLC for the cleaning business and everything. But my question was, should we have the $1,000 savings for that? We currently have no debt except for our mortgage, and we do have 3 months of expenses currently saved up anyways.
Okay, your business finances are separate from your personal finances.
Yeah, this is our personal finances, but so far we are just going to use money that I've been making from my current job to fund this business.
Why would you have to fund a cleaning business? You should make money from the first day.
Yeah, we just started with the LLC, so we're just starting to try and get clients now.
Yeah, well, the LLC is not even necessary, but that's okay. That's done and that's behind you, so now go get clients. You shouldn't have any expenses to set up a cleaning business.
Okay.
Go make some money.
Okay.
And then let's worry about this. And no, you should not quit your job to start a cleaning business. You should start a cleaning business on the side, and when you get your cleaning business income up close to what you're making, then you can afford to quit your job. Until then, it takes too long.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you could get yourself in trouble because you end up being desperate, looking for clients and taking clients you shouldn't take, taking jobs too cheap, everything else, because you're running on desperation mode.
Yeah.
Really important to get that boat close to the dock.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lady in my neighborhood who does this exact thing. She's got a day job, but on the weekends, she's cleaning houses and at nights. And so she comes over once a month, and this is something that she wants to do as a side hustle, and she's going, maybe I'll do this full time, but you've got to get enough clients. Maybe that's in a neighborhood Facebook group where you're at, but you can do this. It's just going to take some time. And like Dave's saying, I want you to get this boat nice and close to the dock so it's not a leap of faith.
This is The Ramsey Show. just sitting here drinking my coffee. Open phones this hour. This is the Dave Ramsey Show, the Ramsey Show. Thank you for joining us. George Camel is our co-host in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage with a question. Kathy is with us from Alexandria, Minnesota. Hi, Kathy. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. How can we help?
I have a question about the budget. I have farm rent that I get every spring, and if I put it into my budget, into my income in the spring, I can't zero out my balance at the end of each month. So how do I put that in there? Divide it by 12 and put it in each month? But then some months I have higher expenses than other months. So not sure how to do that.
Do you have other income that you guys actually live on, and this is just like rental income?
Yes, I have Social Security and pension.
And you guys live on that?
Pretty much, except for some of the bigger things like income tax and insurance, some insurances.
Okay, all right. And those are kind of once a year things?
Yes.
Okay. So probably what I would do is just set your budget up on everything but the farm income. And then what I would do with the farm income is what Sharon and I do when we have a lump sum coming in, like, for instance, a publisher sending us a check on a book. So a royalties check, okay? So similar situation. We get this big check. Again, we know it's coming. We know about what it is. Then what we'll do is we just spend that one time on paper. And so that means we're going to probably put some of it in investments. We're probably going to set some of it aside for taxes. In your case, we're going to set some of it aside for giving. We're going to set some of it aside for, what was the other? You had insurances.
Insurances.
Yeah, some stuff that you're not picking up in your monthly budget, but you know when that check comes in once a year that it's going to have names already on the dollars. But it doesn't necessarily have to be monthly expenses. Because if you disperse this out 1/12 each month, if you put it in a savings account and put 1/12 each month into the budget, you're going to be turning around and pulling it back out, saving up for the taxes, and pulling it back out and saving up for the insurance.
Sure.
So we're just, it's just dog chasing its tail then. So instead, what I would do is just say, I'm going to take this one check and give every one of those dollars a name and set it over here with those dollars named. Now, what you don't want to do is just let it sit there to miscellaneous.
Okay.
Because if it doesn't have a name on it, it just disappears.
Right.
And every dollar still needs an assignment, just like in a monthly budget.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Good way to go at it. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
That's a cool question.
Yeah, it's really an irregular income question. We talk about this with every dollar, with sinking funds and things where you go, hey, I know that insurance is going to have to get paid out in December, so we're going to save up for those 12 months. So that's one way to do it. Or you can just go, hey, we're going to give every dollar a name coming out of this lump sum.
Yep. That's the way to go at it. Exactly. Good question. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. Bernie is with us. Bernie is in Massachusetts. Hi, Bernie. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Well, 2 years ago, we had a paid-off house and about $4,000 in the bank and no debt. And then our house burned down. And it was a total loss.
Wow. How traumatic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we even lost our pets. We didn't even have shoes. Like, it was, God. It was bad. Couple days before Christmas, standing there in 17-degree weather.
Wow.
But anyhow, we were well insured, and we have since rebuilt. And I'm a cheapskate, so when we were going through this process, I was extremely deliberate and frugal. Bought some of my light fixtures at architectural supply, salvage places, whatever. So anyhow, we came out pretty good. We now, again, have a paid-for house, but I now have about $100,000 extra. Because I bought used furniture, I didn't run out to the furniture store and replace everything I own with brand new stuff. So I would like to know the best way to use that money.
Wow.
We didn't have any retirement accounts beforehand, just the $4,000.
Right. How old are you guys?
My husband is 69, and I'm 62 this month.
Okay. Sounds like you need it as a nest egg, doesn't it?
Yeah. The outside of the house is still not finished. I mean, like the ground, we've still got like a dirt path to the front door, and we haven't paved the driveway. HELOCs right now are very low.
No.
I don't know if I should hang on to the money or...
No, you need to set a budget to finish the house. Can you
hasn't
finish?
done except for the outdoors work.
Can you finish the house for under $100,000?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
Finish the house. Finish the house and invest what's left.
Okay, what, like a mutual fund?
Yep. Your house is not finished, though. So you don't have $100,000 left because you don't have a driveway. And you have a dirt path to the front yard. You're not a hillbilly. You need a dadgum sidewalk out there.
Well, yeah, I think we could finish that up for probably about $20,000.
Okay, then you got $80,000 to invest.
And...
Is the house actually finished then?
Yes, we're living in it.
No, when you put $20,000 in the driveway and the sidewalk, are you done?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What is do you have income from any other sources?
My husband collects $1,600 a month in Social Security. I have not filed yet for Social Security, even though I'm 62 this month. I'm exploring. I don't know if I should file yet or not. And one of the things we did when we rebuilt was I looked at the garage and the size of the garage and thought, boy, that's a lot of space above that garage. So we put in an in-law apartment when we built, and I have a son who's renting from us. So we're getting an extra $600 a month from the in-law apartment.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you need to invest the $80,000 and create some extra income for you all to live on. Yeah, in good mutual funds, and sit down with a SmartVestor Pro. Click SmartVestor Pro at Ramsey Solutions. Select one in your area, and sit down with them. But don't do that and have a dirt path to your front door. Finish the house, and because you're going to be living there a long time, and that dirt path is going to be a reminder of the trauma that the fire was. And a fire trauma, losing everything, pets and everything in the house, fire it's on that list of one of the 10 things that can put you in the hospital from stress.
Yeah, that's very emotional. And Bernie, like Dave's saying, the point of the baby steps is not to be miserable. And so I don't want you guys to sacrifice the level where you have a dirt path going up to your house and you have, college dorm room furniture because you're sacrificing. I want you guys to enjoy the things that you have, and you can do that without going crazy. I mean, it sounds like you're very frugal already, but I don't want you to go nuts on this stuff. So do what you need to do to get the house in order to where you enjoy living in it and you can get to the front door, and then invest the rest like Dave's talking about so that you guys can retire with dignity.
Now keep in mind, if you make $10,000 on $80,000, that's $8,000 a year. Okay, so we're only talking about a few $100s a month we're adding to your budget. It's not a ton, but it'll help some. Just like the mother-in-law apartment's helping some with the kid renting it and all that. And so you just keep taking those little steps, but you're going to have to make these. You do not have a big monthly income. With all these things added together, you still don't have a big monthly income. And so you're going to have your Social Security check's going to start pretty quick because you're going to need to add that to this pile to be able to live on what you guys are actually making. Unless there's income coming from somewhere that you did not outline for some reason here, that we didn't understand.
Do you have a rule of thumb for when to take out that Social Security, depending on your situation?
Well, in her case, it sounds like she's got to take it out because I think they're starving.
It's a necessity.
But if you don't need it, the longer you wait, the bigger the check is. But me, I'd get it as soon as I could get it because I want to get all I can get out of the government before I die.
Before it runs out, which sounds like it might happen.
Yeah, you just never know. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Matthew 5:16. Let your light shine before others that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Thomas Paine said, reputation is what men and women think of us. Character is what God and the angels know of us. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. David is in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hi, David. How are you?
Good. Thank you for taking my call, Dave.
Sure. What's up?
So, I've got a kind of a complicated question. I bought a wedding ring, Dave, and I'm going to ask my girlfriend to marry me in a few weeks. And I wanted
Phenomenal!
to go over. Thank you. So I want to try to pick your brain for a second and go over our financial situation. So I am a 39-year-old single dad. Got a 12-year-old little girl. I've got $67,000 saved. I've got $50,000 in my 401k, $5,000 in my Roth. And last March I paid off my house, which is around $450,000 right now. Wow. I've also got $20K in my daughter's 529 plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I make $75,000 a year.
You have done well, sir.
Yeah, I've been at the same job for 19 and a half years, and I've been a big fan of yours for the last 10, so, just kind of really focused. But here's the kicker. My girlfriend is 39 years old. She makes $211,000 a year. She makes $38,000 a year on her rental incomes. She owes $171,000 on one of her rentals, $44,000 on a home equity loan, and then $468,000 on her primary house. Now, her primary is worth about $700,000. Her first rental's worth about $330,000, and she has a $260,000 paid-for rental house already. And about $220K in her 401k, so she's doing quite well herself. She's only got $8,000 in cash savings, though, which we argue about that all the time. She doesn't feel the need to have a lot of cash savings, and I'm the opposite. My question here is, I enjoy the rental houses, and I see a good future, especially in the Raleigh-Durham area with these rental houses. And I want to attack them once we get married and everything, and we'll probably actually tie the knot within a few months. So, do I go after this $44,000 home equity loan, then work my way to the $171,000 loan, and then start tackling the $468,000, or would you recommend me going to a bank, combining it all, seeing if we can get a better interest rate and attacking it that way?
I'll just work through what's there.
Okay.
Now, where are you going to live?
So we live in the $468,000 house. Well, I will be moving in with her, and then I'll be renting
the $700,000 house that has $468,000 owed on it.
Yeah, correct. Yes, sir.
And so yours becomes a rental?
Mine's going to become a rental. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have two paid-for rentals and a primary that you owe $468,000 on.
Correct.
And your household income is going to be approaching $300,000.
It should be around $325,000, but we also owe $171,000 on another.
Yeah,
rental
I got
house,
that one.
And then
No, I would knock out the home equity loan, that $44,000, very, very quickly, probably out of your savings, and then then I'm going to build up from there. We'll treat that thing like a credit card debt, and then I want to build up make sure I have my 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside, and then I want you to pay off the primary.
Okay.
And then the rental last.
That's surprising. I didn't expect to hear that. Okay, so go ahead and start attacking the 468.
Well, here's why, okay? When crap happens, like pandemics, if your personal residence is paid for, it's a different level of peace than if your rental is paid for.
Okay. Yeah, I feel you there.
And so it's like, okay, it's bad for those renters over there because I'm going to have to sell that one. Versus, oh crud, we're in trouble over here at the main castle. Problem, king and queen,
Mm-hmm.
And it just activates a different part of your soul. And so
it does,
one of the things I do when I'm answering these questions is I run best case and worst case scenarios through my head. And whatever the answer is, it ought to line up with both.
Okay.
And that's, so I like taking extreme worst case. Under what conditions would you be having an oh crap moment and be the best off because the thing hit the wall, so to speak?
Would there be any harm in him selling his house, that's $450, to knock out a lot of this debt?
There wouldn't be, and I probably would go there, except they make $300K, and so they should be debt-free on this residence in 3 years. $150 a year for 3 years will knock it out.
They got a huge shovel. So that's the key. That's the key thing here where you go, you don't need
Told
to
me
sell.
they had $100,000 income, I'd have sold his house.
Yeah.
But to get it knocked out, because it's going to take too long to pay off that $468. But they got enough money flying around in equities here that they can do a shell game pretty quick, and there'd be no peace.
Yeah.
Underneath, right? I mean, you could clean up the mess pretty quick. But if you add it all up, it's it's $700,000 in debt, and they've got $67,000 in the bank. So, we could call it, $650,000 in debt. How quick can you pay $650 off, making $300?
Real quick.
The whole thing's going to be done in 5-6 years.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
And then future real estate, pay cash.
Exactly. Good point. Good follow-up, because apparently she's got the rental bug and he does too.
Yeah, they love real estate.
So
it's great.
it's a good thing. Nothing wrong with that, but let's make sure we're paying cash as we go. Good point. Chris is with us in Tampa. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Good morning, Dave. How are you? Or good afternoon, I guess.
Either one works for me, brother. How can I help?
Right. So my father recently passed away in January and left me an exotic car. I'm in the process of getting it running. And my question was, it's kind of, he bought it originally. It's a 1965 356C Porsche.
Ooh.
And he bought it originally brand new. It's a gorgeous car. But I'm $140K basically into my house. I was wondering, should I sell that car and be debt-free? I'm debt-free other than the house.
How old are you?
51.
Okay.
I make enough money, and I think I've got enough savings. I've got enough 401k. I've got enough in top.
What's your household income?
Probably about $130,000.
$30,000 a year?
No, $130,000.
Oh, $130,000. I thought you said about 30. Okay.
No.
That's a little difference. Okay. So how quickly, if you don't sell the car, does the 141 get paid off?
I'm 2 years into a 15-year fix.
You're going to pay it off in 2 years?
No, I'm 2 years into.
I
so
know.
I
How quickly does it get paid off was my question. 15 years?
I don't.
No.
I don't know.
No. You make $130,000 a year. How fast do you pay off $141,000? 4 years.
Really?
Yeah. That's $30,000 a year.
Okay.
Is that worth trading that Porsche for? I don't know. What I can't gauge, and you're the only one that can gauge it, is the nostalgic value of this. The older I get, the more something that my grandpa owned or my dad owned means to me.
I have a lot of that, though. That's the thing. I mean, but his Porsche is original. I'm already getting rid of the boat. I'm selling his house. Matter of fact, probably a lot of the assets from the house, once I sell the house, can go to pay off mine. I don't know. It's just a question of is that kind of money worth future investment and future retirement?
Yeah. I think that's
really a money thing.
Basically this is a collectible that in decent condition should go up in value, not down in value. I don't think it's an investment product, but I don't think you're going to lose half the value like you would on a new Porsche in 5 years, which any new car is that way, by the way. But so you just got to gauge out how much you want to. 10 years from today, are you going to be crying that you sold this Porsche? That's the way you ask yourself the question.
Nothing's on fire here with Chris. He's doing fine. He's got a good financial situation. So there's nothing telling me, yeah, you got to sell the car today.
Yeah, agreed. Great. Good show, George. Well done.
Thank you. It's been fun.
James Childs, Callie Daniels in the booth. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. Dave Dave here. We just launched a brand new listener survey. We want to know what you think about the show. You'll be entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card. No purchase necessary. Take the survey at RamseySolutions.com/survey or text survey to 33789.